Hey everybody, I have a little Ariens mower here, and my belt had fallen off earlier, so I started to pull these covers and stuff off to make sure none of my pulleys were, so actually my belt broke. But I just want to make sure none of these pulleys were locked up or anything, and so yeah, I started pulling these off and I found that my spindle bearing is pretty loud, so anyways, I'm over on the left side of the lawnmower, and there's 3 bolts right here for this cover, and go ahead and pull that off. All right, so here's my my spindle assembly. Here's the pulley on top. Like I said, my belt had fallen off while I was mowing, and I was just checking these. Hopefully you can hear that. It sounds pretty rough as far as the bearing inside. So I'm going to pull these. There's 4 bolts here that feed up from underneath. I'm going to go ahead and pull those off and try to get this guy out. Okay, so on this mower, in order to take the deck off, I've got 4 pins, 2 on each side, here, there at the back. Just some cotter pins you pull out, and then this just pops right out. And then there's also 2 arms that hook underneath the deck here. There's a couple pins there. So I did, press this all the way down and just drop the deck all the way to the floor. So it's basically sitting on the floor on the wheels right now. Okay, so slid the deck out from under the lawnmower here, and here's, again, I hope you can hear that. Whereas the other ones are, barely any noise. So that's a 24 millimeter there, and then so I'm going to pull that off, and then 15 millimeter bolts here. Okay, so got my spindle off. So to be completely honest, this is not supposed to be a serviceable bearing. You're supposed to replace the whole spindle and everything. So they're pretty expensive. I don't know, about 90 bucks a piece, and there's 3 of them on this lawnmower. So after tax and everything, you're looking at a couple $100 bucks, or 300 bucks probably. Anyways, so I've done this once before, and I made a little, it's pretty ugly, so is what it is, but it's a 5/8, I think, socket, and then it's got a couple just threaded rods welded onto the end, and obviously you can see the end there will slide right over top of the screw on the spindle, and they fit pretty nicely down on either side of that. So so I made that before, and like I say, it allows me to unscrew this. What I have here is just 2 screwdrivers through the pulley. So when you're trying to loosen this, the pulley wants to spin around the housing here, because that's where your bearing and everything is. So run a couple screwdrivers through the holes on the pulley, and then I just have it tightened down to the vise. I did put a little heat on this. I just heated up a little bit, kind of loosen things up. Anyways, came off pretty easily. Okay, so got my spindle out. Basically, once you get that nut off, you just pound this spindle, just pound straight out the front. So here's the housing with the 2 bearings in it. So a bearing in the front, a bearing in the back, and in the middle there's a spacer. So if you can see, let's try to look down in there. That's probably the best light. So that spacer you can move around, and you can see where I can get to that front bearing. So that's what I'm going to do, is put, take a punch. Probably I'll need a smaller one than this, but basically take a punch and punch that front bearing out the front here from this side, and then I'll flip it over, and I think this back one probably comes out the back this way. So punch the front one out, flip it over, punch the back one out. Like I say, my spacer's in there. I have I don't remember where I got these. So these are a 6203 2RS bearing. I bought a bunch of them offline. They were pretty cheap. So I have these. I have another set exactly like these. They're in the freezer right now. So I'm going to cool them down just in preparation for reinstalling them because I don't have a press. So I'll be pressing them back in with a hammer. I may be able to find like a little screw press or something, but I don't have a like a big shop press or anything. So that's what I'm doing now. Try to pound these bearings out. Just going through this side, pushing the one out the front, and then flip it and push this one out the back. Okay, so pop the bearings out. I'm gonna get in and clean up kind of that interior bore there, and like I say, the only reason I do this instead of just buying the new hubs is a couple reasons. I don't. It's not hard to do, and the other reason is, like I say, these were $2 for a pack versus $90 for an entire. Now, will it last as long? Probably not. Okay, so we got the inside kind of all cleaned up, and I did find a little screw press that I have. So how this works is, you use the housing here to press, and I have another stop here, and then you put a nut on, or put a nut on that end and tighten the nut up so it presses the bearing in by squeezing on the housing, basically. So I'm doing the bottom one first, so you can see this lip right here. So actually I have to go all the way in. So there's my new bearings. I'll show you with the old one. So basically I have to press that all the way down to about here. So obviously with this, I can't fit, this won't go in the hole, and then this is too small, to be pressing on this inside. So what I've found, I had and I'm hoping that this works, but it's just a brass insert that I'm gonna put, and it fits pretty well. I'll line it up on there. So it's gonna press on that outer race, once I start going in the hole. But one thing definitely to check is, so you can see that first lip right there, is make sure it'll go down all the way into the lip without, because if this is say the too small, you'll get stuck in there. So I'm gonna heat up this housing a bit. I just pulled these out of the freezer, and I'm gonna use this little screw press to install this one. Then I'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so real quick, here's I just want to show you how that worked. Bolt on top, bolt on the bottom, these big kind of guides here, and then I just tightened down this top and bottom bolt. I actually used my impact, so it was pretty easy. But, you can see it kind of just bottoms out here, and then when I unscrew it, that bearing should be flush. And I've already put in the one here as well on the inside. So don't forget, so once you put in one, you have to put your little spacer back in there, because if you forget to do that, then you'll have to pop the bearings back out to put your spacer in. So don't forget to put your spacer in once you get one of the bearings in, and then you can put your other bearing in. Okay, so pretty much got it all tightened back down. I used the same setup for tightening this. Like I say, it's by all means or a large nut that threads onto the shaft of the pulley here. So again, put my 2 screwdrivers through the pulley itself to keep that still. I've got it tightened down on my vise here, and just went around and tightened it up real good. You could probably put some, I didn't put any, maybe I should have, some Loctite or something around here. I did put a little bit of grease down around the bearings before I put this on, so I kind of put some grease on, and I don't think I showed putting the shaft back through, you know, the shaft back through the bearings actually. Yeah, it wasn't difficult. I had to press on it a little bit, but I just basically flipped it upside down and pushed it down by hand. That's it. It's ready to be put back on. So not terrible. Like I say, if you have this is the only real special thing you need, and then a little bit of patience. And like I said, I did heat this up when I was taking this off the first time. Other than that, nothing really special. I don't know, so like I say, I'm using my pulley to kind of thread everything back on. I don't know if that's gonna damage this or work this, but so far it's worked. All right, before I go, got the blade back installed, and much smoother now. So anyways, there you go. Thanks, bye.